This is Cantonese soy sauce chow mein, and today I'm going to show you how to make it. You'll learn all the secrets on how to make this dish just like the one served at the dim sum restaurant. Minus having to get up extra early to grab a table at the restaurant. To get started, you're going to need a bag of fresh chow mein egg noodles that you can pick up at your local Asian grocery store. The keywords here being fresh chow mein, not lo mein, not wonton mein, not mama mein, and most definitely not Mr. Noodles. Sorry, Mr. Noodles. Now, if you really can't find fresh chow mein noodles, then you can substitute it with dried egg noodles, although the texture will be different, and you won't get that nice chewy and bouncy texture found on fresh chow mein noodles. But it is an option. Just make sure that you use a non-flavored kind. Some brands add extra flavoring such as shrimp to the dried egg noodles. Now, if you're a vegetarian though, then you can substitute it with vegetarian style chow mein noodles that look and taste nearly identical to the original version. Again, available at your local Asian grocery store. To prepare our noodles, fill a large pot with water and bring it to a boil. Then immediately shut off the stove and dump your bag of noodles into the pot. I'm gonna use the whole bag of egg noodles here because I have a big appetite. But if it's too much food for you, then just use half of the bag and half of the other ingredients in the recipe. Or likewise, you can store the leftovers in the fridge for later consumption. We're gonna let the noodles cook in the hot water for about a minute or so, making sure to separate the noodles by using some chopsticks so that they don't stick together. The goal here is to blanch the noodles until they loosen up and don't stick together anymore, but do not overcook them or they will become mushy and soft. Once you see that the noodles have become loose and separated, immediately remove the noodles from the pot and dump it into a colander to drain all the water, but do not rinse it under cold water. I found that if you rinse it under cold water, the noodles tend to stick to the wok when cooking. Now add in a little bit of oil and then loosen up the noodles to prevent them from sticking together using chopsticks or some tongs. Then, transfer the noodles to a tray and line the noodles evenly on the tray to allow it to cool down and not clump together. This is going to help preserve that nice texture when we eat the noodles that you otherwise wouldn't get if you were to rinse the noodles under cold water. Now while our noodles are cooling down, we're going to prepare our vegetables and sauce. Grab 3 to 4 stalks of green onion and cut them into 3 to 4 inch sections and keep the green and white parts separate. Next, cut half of a medium-sized yellow onion into strips and using your hands, separate each piece and then set it aside. Then, grab 2 to 3 small shallots and cut them into strips as well. Some people also like to add in some Chinese chives, but I'm not a big fan of them, so I'm omitting it, but you can totally include them in the recipe as well. Finally, wash and rinse some bean sprouts in cold water. Ideally, you should look for some fresh and white looking bean sprouts when buying them, and avoid the slimy and dark colored bean sprouts that look like they are about to expire. Then, drain the bean sprouts. Now for the sauce. In a small bowl, add in about 3 tablespoons of light soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of dark soy sauce, 2 teaspoons of white granulated sugar, 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce, and 3 tablespoons of water. Mix everything well together and set it aside. Once our noodles have fully cooled down, it's time to cook the ingredients. We're going to start by heating up a wok on medium-high heat. Once you start to see smoke coming out of the wok, add in about a tablespoon of oil to the wok. Now, add in your bean sprouts and stir fry it. We're only going to cook this for about 30 seconds or so, just to get rid of the raw taste and maintain the crunchiness of the bean sprouts. Once done, remove it from the wok. You can see here that the bean sprouts have become somewhat translucent. Next, add in about half a tablespoon of oil to the wok. Let the oil heat up over medium heat, and then add in your onions, followed by the shallots and the white part of the green onions. We're going to stir fry this again for about 30 seconds to a minute to get rid of the raw taste of the vegetables. Once you start seeing the onions turn somewhat translucent, remove everything from the wok. Now it's time to cook our noodles. Add in about 1.5 tablespoons of oil to the wok. You can also use lard in place of oil. Some people prefer the richer taste of that, but I'm not going to do that. Why? Because I don't want to get a heart attack. Now add in about half of your noodles. Yes, that's right. We're gonna cook 2 batches because I don't want to overcrowd the wok, so just divide everything by 2 going forward, including the vegetables and sauce. Now, using chopsticks, make sure that the noodles aren't all clumped together and then try to shape the noodles into a circular shape. Then, let the noodles sit and cook for about 3 to 3.5 minutes. This step is crucial to making your noodles nice and crispy on the outside, while still soft on the inside. Once 3 minutes have passed and you notice the bottom is starting to get slightly crispy, flip the noodles over. Hey, my wok weighs a ton, so I can't flip it the traditional way. Plus I have weak forearm muscles, okay? Now add in a little bit of oil to the edge of the wok and let the noodles cook on this side for another 3 to 3.5 minutes. Then, loosen up the noodles. Next, add back in the vegetables that you cooked earlier. Mix everything well together and then add in your sauce. Using chopsticks or tongs, try to coat the noodles evenly with the sauce. Then, add in the green parts of the green onion that you cut earlier. Garnish it with some sesame oil. Turn off the heat, give it a quick few tosses, and then remove it from the wok. Additionally, you can sprinkle in some toasted sesame seeds on top of the noodles if you want, or just leave it out. What could be better than waking up to the smell of freshly cooked soy sauce chow mein noodles? Soft and crunchy, savory and sweet, these noodles make a great breakfast or afternoon meal when you're craving some hot and fresh noodles. Here's another recipe that I think you'll also enjoy.